Welcome, guys. It's your favorite Star Wars podcast, the Podwans Podcast. I am your host, Luke, and with me, as always, is David.
Hey
How's it going?
guys, how's it going?
Oh, we got a nice little fancy background if you're watching us on
Yeah,
YouTube. We've got other things that we've got planned as well. So let's get into it. We've been off a week. It's been busy. It's been hectic. So we are recording episode 6, Rookies. And so this
episode
is,
five, right?
well, I did one with Carter. So that was episode 5.
Episode
And the
six of the
6 of the
podcast,
podcast.
episode
The
5
5
of the show.
yes,
I'm with it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm with it.
Absolutely. We don't use episodes anymore for the movies. We've already established that.
Right.
So we're good. We're good on the episode part. How
you been?
Oh, I've been good.
It's been it's been a couple of weeks in real time.
Yeah, in real time. Yeah.
And we are now shooting on Saturday where we
Yes.
had been shooting on Tuesdays, and
Yep.
I think for the next couple months we're going to be shooting on Saturdays. I don't know what that's going to do with our release time, but something
We'll
just
still
little bit of
release
background.
every Tuesday.
Okay.
Or we might do Saturday. I haven't decided yet, but we will
Who
discuss
knows?
that at a later time. But let's get into the episode, shall we? The episode is called Rookies. It's directed by Justin Ridge and written by Stephen Melching. Are we ready for the beginning voice?
You got to warm up or anything?
Yeah. I'm just getting the voice ready. Hold on. Hold
Do you
up.
need like a throat punch? Let me drive up there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Ready. I'm ready. Let's go. Clone forces rally. As the war escalates in the Outer Rim, the Jedi Knights are spread thinly across the galaxy. Many new clones are rushed into service to support their Jedi generals. Unfortunately, because of the relentless demands of battle, many young clones must join the network of I messed that up. Must join the struggle before their intensive training has been complete. These clones, manning a vital network of tracking stations, are all stands between the Republic and invasion. Not my best work, but
That's okay.
it's good. It's good.
We're in our voice infancy.
We're in our voice infancy. So this episode, so I will say this about this episode. It really brings in the clones really well.
These are names that I remember from
Okay.
childhood. I
You
remember
do.
Heavy. I remember Fives.
Five.
I feel like
You
were
remember
these
Echo?
guys characters in the movie?
No.
Okay.
None of these clones are in the movies.
They have to reappear though, because I've heard these names multiple times.
Some of them do.
Okay.
Some of them do.
Some of them don't make it through this episode.
Yeah. So David, watching it canonically, this episode actually is like third or fourth. So if we were watching it canonically, we would have already recorded it, believe it or not.
As in, this takes place before Malevolence?
Yeah. It takes place before Malevolent. Or no, maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. I just know that the clones in season 3, there's an episode that ties back into this one, and it should be before, like the episode in season 3 should be before you see them in this episode. So that's kind of a tidbit.
Well, I do know that at the very beginning of the episode, like Obi-Wan walks in on Anakin and he's like, "Are you still awake?" "Oh yeah, I can't go to sleep until..."
Yeah.
So they've been hunting Grievous for a while now, because Anakin's like on the hunt, not sleeping.
Pretty
He
much.
is doing anything he can to get this guy.
Yeah. And notice how Ahsoka's not there.
But also they've totally lost. Oh yeah, Ahsoka's not there.
Yeah.
But they don't even reference her. But they've totally lost him. They have no idea where Grievous is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it kind of fits in with the Malevolence arc. It kind of doesn't at the same time. So that's when you can kind of see where the story is going, like how wonky it is sometimes.
Yeah.
But this keeps escaping them, and they're still on the hunt. And Cody checks in with both Obi-Wan and Anakin to check
Commander
on,
Cody
yeah,
from the
Commander Cody.
movie,
Yep,
from
from Revenge
Revenge
of
of
the
the Sith.
Sith. Yep, absolutely. And he brings him and Rex, Captain Rex, are going out to each station to do checkups and kind of see how the stations are going. So they're going to head to Rishi Station, which is a main station for the Republic into the Outer Rim. So it connects to Camino, and all the other, like the main one is Camino because that's where they're trying to attack, where the Separatists would like to take out the homeworld and the creation of the clones. So that's a very, very important station. And I like how Anakin and Obi-Wan were like having a little bickering about, well, if Cody didn't have to follow every single protocol, like
But
it
he's
would be done
literally
smoothly.
like from birth been trained to
Yeah,
not break
yeah,
the rules. Like
yeah.
it's
Both of them have been,
basically
and
in his DNA.
yeah, it's so funny though. It's just like it's like they're like Cody is so much like Kenobi, and Rex is so much like Anakin. Um, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Mhm.
Um, but then we go from uh, what was something else that you really liked in this episode,
Um, what I
plot
liked about the
wise,
episode,
like
I think
plot
it
wise?
was, you know, I think it's, I always, again, I'm a big world builder guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really interesting to get more down to the minutia of like, oh, it's not just like battle after battle after giant battle. Like some of it really is just like, oh, what do you guys do? We guard an outpost for months on
Yeah,
end with no action. But like, it's good to know that like it's good to highlight, those. And I know that this one's more about like, oh well, there's a battle that happens here, and yeah, there is a big battle, but it does give you the context of like, it's not all action all the time. They aren't
no, yeah,
literally like, it's not Anakin Skywalker that's jumping from one, space battle to rendezvous with Grievous on some planet and blah blah blah. There's a
yeah.
lot of troopers that just sit around all day and
Don't do
radio into
anything.
base and don't do anything.
Yeah. Uh, so when they're looking at and doing the when so like when we get into the base, like heavy and fives are arm wrestling, like they have a hollow thing on that's talking about Mamba, and uh that planet is actually the planet that is in Solo, the
Oh yeah,
mud
yeah.
planet.
Uh-huh.
So that's what they're referencing. So that's what they so in Solo they took that planet and made that what she was talking about. So I found that kind of funny. Um, but
Disney in general is
yeah,
very good at going back to old
yes.
irrelevant things and building a world around it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the interaction between Fives, Heavy, and Echo. Echo's like very particular, and Heavy's like, "Oh, let me check the scanner." Like, "Oh, there's nothing there for the
There's
thousandth time," and it's
a
like
lot
Echo's
of
like,
sarcasm, yeah.
"Yeah," and Echo's like, "Fine, whatever, but we still have to do it." Like he's very much uptight, and like Heavy's just like, I don't really care until there's action that comes. I don't like our job is to look at a screen and nothing happens. And then the captain comes up and they all get serious and they all salute, and the captain pretty much puts Heavy in his place saying, "Hey, this is an important position. You should take it seriously," which ultimately throughout the episode it isn't very important, and
Mm-hmm.
they do kind of look at that. So then they hear alarms and they see on the display screen that there's meteors coming, and I thought this was very interesting on how like like my thought was, how in the heck do you not understand? Like not understand, but like how can you not pick up metal? Like how can a scanner not pick up
Well,
those things? You know
from
what
a
I mean?
from a scientific standpoint, I mean, granted, I don't know what the technology is like in Star Wars universe, but a meteorite is typically quite a bit of metal alloys. I mean, it's the stuff that makes it to Earth is usually like a pretty solid rock, right? Like it's not going to be
I guess.
dirt, it's not going to be loose gravel. It's going to be a lot of times it's like iron or whatever. But I don't know if they have the ability to like. I would imagine with the technology they have that they could like slow it down and be like, that doesn't look right. Even with not much warning, you would know, oh, those aren't meteorites, those are like
Well,
actual battle
yeah.
droids.
It's just
But also, I'm gonna tell you that uh I don't think that they know much about the commando battle droids.
oh well, yeah. So this is your first first canon view of the commando droids. Which, by the way,
And you do get I can't remember who says it, but you do get one of them that's like, or one of the clone troopers that makes a comment about how these are the new commando droids. So he's
yep,
heard of them, but
yeah.
he probably hasn't seen them and may not have that much training on them.
Well, and it's interesting because it's like they show up, and it's like you look at this, and then you look at the original trilogy with the stormtroopers, and you look at like from the Clone Wars to the original trilogy. God, why didn't you just have like the clones were so much better than the stormtroopers? Why didn't you just keep them?
Yeah.
And that gets just dude, I can't wait till you start watching Bad Batch.
Well, clone troopers are
So
expensive,
good.
aren't they? I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of it's
Yes.
very cheap to go and kidnap children. It's very expensive to grow clones,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of the story behind FN 218
Yeah.
in
FN
the
2187. Yeah.
sequels,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Or Finn. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, it's yeah, and but I get it. And so like, so the droids end up taking out a scout, and then they infiltrate the base, and like Fives, Echo, and I can't remember the one that's with them. That's not really part of the squad.
Droid bait, cut out one of those guys.
Cut up.
Cut
Cut
up.
up. They all escape. The commander, the captain dies, and a couple other clones die as well. And so what that gives the droids is to flip on the all clear signal for General Grievous so that they can come in, and
Yeah, these guys are quick and efficient.
they are very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So they do pretty quick work to the clones that don't survive. Um which is interesting because we look at the droids throughout like the prequel trilogy, and we're just like, they're kind of useless. They're kind of like stormtroopers. But then when you get into the Clone Wars, you see like B2 battle droid, the super battle droids from Attack of the Clones. They're a little bit more menacing. You see the droidicas.
But also, I mean, there is a reason why you don't just see a bunch of the BX series
Yeah,
is
B1s. Yeah.
or whatever, or the droidicas or the super battle droids. They are more expensive, and this is a
Yes.
war, and there are price tags.
Oh yes.
And you got I don't know what the price tag is for a regular battle droid, but let's say it's $10,000. This guy might be $100,000.
Yeah.
I can have 10 battle droids, and who fucking cares if one of them gets killed? I still have 9 others.
Yeah.
One of these
Absolutely.
guys dies, and you're like, oh shoot, like that. I'm out
Well,
100
there goes
grand.
there goes $15,000
Yeah,
out the
I'm gonna
window.
be making payments on that for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
the,
Pretty
the
much.
the Bacon Clan's gonna be knocking on my door.
No, yeah, absolutely. So what else? So they take over, and then we get a cut of both Rex and Cody
Mm-hmm.
trying to get onto the base. And I think it's so interesting that the droids are able to mimic the voices of the clones. Like,
That
they'll give it to us.
that's gotta be a commando droid upgrade.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's not
Yeah.
going to be for every droid. Absolutely. Commando droids, obviously, they're going to have different things, just like the commando clones. And did you ever play Republic Commando as a kid? It's like a Delta Squadron. Oh, dude. The clone commandos are like the Black Ops of the Republic Army, and they are awesome. Like they're
the Navy SEAL Team 6.
Yes, basically yes. But so they go in, and the commando droid just goes frequency, and he sounds exactly like a clone. Puts the clone helmet on. It's just like, okay, that was pretty easy to do.
Yeah,
but
then he says Roger, Roger. Like, come on,
like
man,
like
dude.
Cody and Rex have to be like,
that's not right.
Right? Yeah. So then they land, and another commando droid puts on a uniform of a dead clone, walks out, goes to meet him, and like the entire time, like if I'm Rex or Cody, I'm like, that doesn't look right.
Okay, so interesting plot point.
Okay.
I had to look this up because I was really interested when they were wearing the suit.
Okay.
The commando droids, and in fact, regular battle droids, 6'3". They're tall guys.
What the heck?
Tall, 6'3". Guess how tall a clone trooper is?
6'4".
6 foot even.
How does that happen?
So if you got
is
a
that
6'3",
canon?
it's
canon?
Yeah. So you got. It's on Wikipedia. Go look it up.
Oh, we don't.
And I'm gonna guess that
we don't always trust Wikipedia. Come on,
hey,
some people live and die by Wikipedia, and that's not how we live.
I am going to assume that they have the height at least somewhat accurate.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
That's a really weird thing to make up numbers about.
That's true.
And I'm sure what's the actor who plays
the clones?
Yeah,
Tamora Morrison.
No, in the movies.
Yeah, Tamora Morrison. I don't know how to say his last name. I might be butchering it. He also plays Boba.
All right, so if we want to talk about canon,
how tall is he?
He's 5'7", and you can't make that number up.
No.
So imagine a 5'7" clone trooper. Take his armor and put it on a 6'3" battle droid.
Yeah, that's not.
You're gonna have gaps in the neck.
Yeah,
you're gonna have the shoes aren't gonna fit.
So maybe with the command droid, they can lower their height.
Hopefully,
maybe.
Or else it's gonna be a dead giveaway.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's interesting.
I did. I was like, how would this work? Like anatomically speaking.
That's awesome that you looked it up. That's funny. But so then he goes out, and he's like, there's no reason for you to be out here. Like we
no reason to come inside. Everything's working fine. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, pretty much like, hey.
Cody's like, that's not how this works. But
and then he hears, take us to the captain, and then the clone goes, Roger, Roger. And then all of a sudden, you just see Rex pull out a gun, shoot the guy in the head. And Cody's like,
was that pre-flare or post-flare?
No, that's
right?
post-flare. Yeah, they see the flare go up, and then Rex shoots the droid.
He's got red flags, but then that flare goes up, and he's
like, oh, the droid flare. Yeah, that's right. I did forget about that.
And then it freaking zaps him.
Well, he just takes his blaster and shoots him in the head. He goes
point blank.
Yeah, Cody goes, Rex, what the heck are you doing? When earlier in the episode, somebody says, what the hell is that? I was like, why couldn't Cody just say, what the hell? Come on. Like, you already said it was.
Well, it's Cartoon Network, so you only get like one,
that's true.
You're one hell per episode.
That's the point. So.
Plus, it's a Disney movie now.
Yeah. So Rex goes, relax. I know what I was doing the entire time. That wasn't a droid. That wasn't a clone. Takes the helmet off and goes, see?
But he had to take the helmet off just to be sure. He was like,
yeah. Oh, God. Please be a droid. Please be a droid.
I didn't kill one of my brothers. That's good.
Oh, whew. So they take it off and they see that and then they just get ambushed by a whole bunch of other commando droids.
Yeah.
And these things are menacing. Like I said, they're menacing.
They're faster. They can jump.
They can
I
do
don't know if I've ever
flips.
seen a battle droid jump.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's like they got the LeBron James version of a battle droid.
Yeah, but it's like they turned LeBron James up to like 13.
Yeah. 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 So they're like shooting things. They're doing pretty accurate. And I mean, Cody and Rex are handling themselves pretty well. Just
Mm-hmm.
they ultimately have to do the episode 1 thing. They shoot up and they grapple, but they have suction cups. So they grapple before they hit the ground, and they grapple all the way down to meet the members of Domino Squad, who are Fives, Heavy, and Echo. They're part of Domino Squadron. So then Rex, especially when the other clones come up, he goes, "Take your helmets off! Take your helmets off!" Like, that's fine. And everybody's just like, why? And then they take them off, and it's like, oh, okay, good. We're good, guys. And I think
So
that.
hold
Oh yeah, go
on.
ahead.
I'm reading the Wikipedia.
Oh, here we go. He's reading Wikipedia.
There's a reference right here,
The Bible.
continuity. In the original showing of this episode, the word hell was used twice.
I knew it.
During the replay, however, the word was censored due to complaints from parents. There you go. There's your answer.
Wow.
It's written down.
That's.
Hey, good for you for noticing it.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm pretty sure he says what the hell, but whatever.
What the HE double hockey stick? Sorry,
yeah,
that's a little divergence, but I thought it was just too good to pass up on.
No, yeah. I like that little nugget that you threw in there. So they grapple down, they have Domino Squad take off their helmets. They basically go into like what happened. And they tell him, and then Rex shoots the slug-looking thing, like just one shot in the face. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, and everybody else is just like, okay, we're in good hands. I think we can handle this. And they ultimately take back. So they formulate a plan. They take back the head place. What's that? Like the command center. And
there's
they
a little trickery involved. They pretend to be a battle droid.
Oh yeah, Roger.
And the guy's like,
Roger.
I want to see your face, and he like ducks down, and he like picks up he's like, here it is.
Yeah, yeah, picks it up, and then they open up, and Rex goes, Roger, and then shoots
blast.
I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then they take back the command center, and the command droids, they are still really, really, really difficult to take care of. But then, so when they take over the command post, all of a sudden they have a troop carrier from the Separatists land, and they're like, okay, well, we can't defend this. They're gonna have more numbers than us, so we got to destroy that. We have to destroy the facility so that the signal is gone, so that it alerts the rest of the Republic.
Yeah.
And the way they did it with gonk droids. Gonk droids, of all things. Gonk droids.
The classics.
Those
things from the video games where you had no idea what they were used for, and all they did was
in Battlefront 2 they were for ammunition.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, that's right.
Yep, the ammunition droids. Those were the gonk droids. But so we like one thing, like Echo's the one that does all the tech stuff for them, I'm pretty sure. And they got to figure out, so like when they hear the droids coming, they retreat, they go back into the place where they had escaped from before, but they can't let it explode. The remote won't work, so Heavy goes back in and like it's our first real clone death that matters. Like I said, this episode for the clones really builds on them as a whole,
Hmm.
and I really, really, really like it.
There's a lot of character development, even in the. I mean, just in the subtle stuff, like when they're like take off your helmets, like that's personalization, right? Underneath,
Yeah.
without them with the masks on, they're uh, just another person. But
Yes.
there, I think there's a theme that develops where like there's this moment of like revealing your face, like you saw it in episode
Mando.
one, with Yoda, talking to or talking to the clones in the cave.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it personalizes it a little more and lets you, become attached. Even though they all have the same faces, it's still,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, and like seeing Heavy sacrifice himself, and you see, like, that's the beginning of the end of Domino Squad. Other things happen. Like those are the clones that are meant to be like I like Echo Fives Heavy. Like
hmm hmm
those are the clones. And you get a little bit more background in season 3 about those clones.
yeah,
Um they destroy he sacrifices himself, destroys the facility. Obi-Wan and Anakin see that the signal is off, and they're like, "Okay, well, we know something's wrong there. Let's jump to hyperspace." And they jump to hyperspace. Grievous is like, "Oh, well, we're outmanned and we're outgunned. Let's get the heck out of here." So that didn't work. Um, and then ultimately, Fives Echo kind of are like grieving about. They don't really grieve. They're just like very somber and sad about Heavy
yeah,
being gone.
yeah,
They get back on the ship on the Venator class destroyer after being picked up from the gunships, and they land. And Anakin says, I'd be proud to serve beside you." Um, uh, and then Rex says similar the same thing.
and then they joined the 501st too.
Yeah, 501st, which is under the command of Jedi General Anakin Skywalker.
Mhm.
And
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of them here soon.
uh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The members of Domino Squadron are very, very relevant. Very relevant throughout the entire up until about no, they're pretty much relevant the entire series. You just get away from those guys quite often. So they're still there, but they're not as to the point. Like they're not focused on a ton.
Hmm.
Um but okay, so now we're gonna get to our. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm
Some
good.
things that I missed.
Uh, I'm sure we missed something, but no, I think. I mean, it was a good episode.
Okay,
It
what's your
was
ranking?
it was
Do you want me to go over the rankings again?
no, I'll give it I give it a Padawan. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's a good
Wow.
episode, and there's a lot of
Relationship building.
introductions and relationship building, but I feel like plot wise, it was like, I don't know, it's just very typical battle scene to me.
Yeah. No, I get that. I
And
understand.
also, I mean, we're coming out of a 3 episode arc where there was, an overarching plot,
Yes.
and you get to this episode and you're like, wow, that was, that
That
started
didn't.
and was wrapped up in 20 minutes.
Yeah. And it's kind of harder to talk about the one-off episodes.
Yeah, it was a
But
good episode. I
it
still
was a good
think,
episode.
I mean, I don't know, maybe Jedi Knight. I'm between a 2 and a 3 on it.
Okay. I'm gonna give it between a Jedi. I'm gonna. I'll go Jedi Master. The
Okay.
only reason because I know what happens to a lot of the members of Domino Squad, and seeing Heavy die really hits home, and it means a lot more. Um, so that's why I would give it Jedi Knight or
Hmm.
Jedi Master. I mean, sorry. But yeah, that's
That's episode
episode
5.
5 of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So we are growing quite rapidly on TikTok. Um, David, I sent David one of our more viewed videos of Harry Potter versus Luke Skywalker.
And I'd like to say that I feel like we need to talk about it a little bit more. I
I
feel like the
okay.
TikTok was not long enough, and you did not get a counter argument, a fair counter argument.
Oh, did you not? Well, see, here's the issue. You're not on TikTok, so you didn't see all the comments that were in there.
I didn't.
It's quite
What do
it's
you
quite
what do you feel like
amazing.
the spread is as far as like agreeers and dissenters?
I think it's split 60 not 50-50. I'd say it's more 60-40 Star Wars.
Okay.
60-40 bands that are in there trying to do their best, but
So okay, so hold on. Lost my headphones. You there?
yep.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Technical difficulties, guys. Hold on just a second.
While we're having technical difficulty, look at our podcast
Oh goodness,
overlay.
guys. What's going on here?
Anyway, we can plug the TikTok. Go follow us on TikTok at the Podwans
Oh, here we
Podcast.
go.
If you look at anything, oh, he's back. He can hear us. He can hear us.
I'm good now.
All
I'm here.
right. All right. So, are you taking the stance of the Harry Potter fan or
I just want to talk about it more. I have not made up my mind.
okay? So, do you want to hear my? I didn't explain much because I wanted to make it a shorter video.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my thoughts. Luke Skywalker, and if we're talking Return of the Jedi Mandalorian Season 2 finale, Luke Skywalker, he sweeps Potter no matter how old he is. And here's my
But okay,
thought.
so I just want to know, like, if we're
Okay.
talking, obviously these two characters exist in very different universes, right?
Yes.
But I want to talk about if they lived in the same universe in which you have the Force and you
And you
have
have magic.
magic.
Okay.
Magic interacts with individuals different than the Force does, right? So the Force is it's mind control. It's the ability to, like, you have Force lightning, you can telekinesis, all that kind of stuff. Whereas
Yes.
magic it's all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's I don't know if there's like is there a Force shield?
So they can use the Force in different ways. It manifests in different ways. I don't want to spoil Light of the Jedi for you.
Mm-hmm.
How far have you gotten on that, by the way? Not very far.
I haven't touched it in a couple weeks. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But there is a Jedi in there that sees the Force as music.
Hmm.
So it 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 the way you're saying the magic affects people differently and it shows itself differently is exactly like the Force.
Okay.
The Force, it binds us, surrounds us, everything like Yoda says. So different Jedi interpret it differently.
So why is Luke so much overpowered than Harry Potter?
Okay. You ready for this?
I'm
You ready for
waiting.
this? Okay. So for all the Harry Potter fans out there saying that Avada Kedavra could kill Luke, if I am remembering Harry Potter correctly, when Harry and Voldemort and even Dumbledore and Voldemort, their wands and spells clash, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
In
So if we're
certain
using that
instances.
logic,
Mm-hmm.
then it should just be like how lightsabers clash. So I feel like if you're shooting a beam at Luke and he ignites his lightsaber, it's just going to be like when force lightning is hitting his lightsaber, Mace Windu's, and it's just deflecting or absorbing. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
And then also, so sometimes, not all the time, you don't need to say a spell to do something, but a lot of the time you have to do a spell, you have to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Luke can use the Force without anything, and he can use Force choke, he can Force
Well,
push,
there's
he
there's
can
a
pull.
there's a body gesture related to it typically.
Yes. So I mean, I feel like if Harry were to go to do a spell, Luke could just
Yeah.
grab his wand and take it from him. You know what I mean?
Um, I get that. That's a good point. But there are also, I'm going to give you the counterpoint that
Okay.
um there are a lot of spells that don't involve shooting beams first. And there's a lot of things that Harry could do to prevent Luke from being able to do a lot of the things he does. There's, Petrificus Totalis, that spell in the very first Harry Potter movie where they freeze Neville Longbottom. There's,
Yeah.
there's Aguamenti where you could like shoot water at the guy. I mean, there's just tons and tons of spells. Plus, I mean, we see Harry when he's relatively new. Are we talking about Harry in his prime versus
I'd say
Voldemort,
Harry in his
or
prime,
versus
Harry
Luke in his
Potter
prime?
in his prime versus Luke in his prime.
I mean, he goes on to become an Auror, the cops of the wizarding world. Like, he is one of the most badass wizards out there. You got to think, like, this guy has. I think they could hold their own, and I
Okay.
think that there's enough things that Harry could do to stop Luke Skywalker. But I think you also have to keep in mind these are two guys that probably aren't diametrically opposed.
They're very similar characteristics wise. They're written, well, at least Harry's written the same way Luke was doing the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
They're very similar in the same temperament. Even though I think, well, no, they're basically the same character. They have the same characteristics. They go about doing things the same way.
So I think the question is why are they battling? If they're trying to kill each other, I think Luke Skywalker wins. I think
Oh,
you're right.
absolutely.
I think Harry's got Avada Kedavra, but that's really about it. I mean, there's a couple things that he can do to try and stop, but if they're just trying to
Take each
immobilize
other
each
out.
other or take each other out or just incapacitate one another, I don't know. I think Harry Potter's got a good chance at it.
Yeah, but you're still picking Luke to win, though.
Mm,
We're a Star Wars podcast. Remember that.
that doesn't mean I have to. We're a Clone Wars podcast. Luke hasn't even been born yet.
No, and he won't be born.
Until way after this show's over.
Yeah, but it's still relevant.
I'd probably take him, but I think it'd be
Okay.
closer than you would expect.
Then I said in my TikTok that it wouldn't even be close.
Yes. I think given the right circumstance. Now, but again, I mean, if he goes in and the first thing he does is like point his wand and say Avada Kedavra, yeah, I think game over. I think simple little lightsaber block, force pull the wand away, game over. I think you're right. Yeah, I'll give that point to you.
Avada Kedavra is not gonna do anything. Like
Well,
like
it could kill him.
it could, but like with a lightsaber and the Force, like we've seen Jedi and Sith stop blaster bolts. That's the
Mhm.
other thing. Like they can
Mhm.
freeze things in midair. So what's to say that he can't do that with a spell? You know what I mean?
Does Luke know how to stop a lightsaber bolt or
I would assume so.
a not a
I don't
lightsaber bolt,
know.
a
Well,
laser bolt in the
well,
middle of the air?
well, because Kylo knows how to do it,
Yeah, but it's a
and that's
different
and
set of
Luke
skills, isn't
and
it?
Luke, but no, but Luke taught him that.
Did he?
Yeah,
Or did Kylo learn stuff after he left?
that's also true. That also could be true as well.
I mean, because in an offhanded way, he was kind of sort of also trained by Palpatine.
Yeah, Snoke, but yeah, Palpatine in a way.
I mean,
Oh, by
Snoke
the
is
way,
a proxy.
did I tell you about so StarWars.com came out? One of their people that does canon stuff gave the explanation of how and why Palpatine survived.
What's the explanation?
So basically, I'm gonna pull it up here real quick. I'm gonna go to Star Wars. For those watching, I'm going to pull up this, and we're gonna be like in the middle of it. Hold on. It's a blog, but it's from a blog. It's from the official Star Wars crew. So give me a second here. Where's it at? All right, here we go. Technical difficulty, people. Here we go. Share screen. Window, Chrome. Okay. You see this, David?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically it's an explanation on how Palpatine had a contingency plan and he was able to go through, and basically the contingency plan is if he died. Let's make this a lot bigger. Hold on. There we go. So in Battlefront 2, it's called Operation Cinder. After he died, he manifested himself into these droids, these proxies, and he basically said, try to take out as many Imperials as you can, and the rest escape into the Outer Rim sieges. Or not Outer Rim siege, but the unknown regions. So this is Operation Cinder. It's a whole bunch of laser beams destroying planets. So kind of like what happens in the Rise of Skywalker, kind of not. It's kind of interesting. During Operation Cinder, they try to he tries to destroy his homeworld of Naboo, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so I mean, it's a good little article to go down and read. Gallius Rax is also mentioned in the aftermath. So all of this is in different canon material.
Hmm.
But I think it's interesting. It's so interesting. And I mean, it like for many years prior to his demise, Palpatine sought immortality on the Sith planet of Exegol. It was on this planet that he and his cultists, known as the Sith Eternal, experimented with cloning. Exegol was also where Palpatine built his Final Order fleet. And this is described in the Vader 2020 comic as well. But yeah, I mean, it's for the people that complain about the sequel trilogy, come read this. This will make a lot more sense. And that's all I got on that. But I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
will be getting a season 2 of The Bad Batch, which, by the way, season 1 has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've loved it. I can't wait for David to get into it and meet all these clones and really enjoy it. But we got some Obi-Wan news. We got Thrawn and Ezra news, but I don't really want to talk about it because David doesn't really know who Thrawn is, and he doesn't know who Ezra is.
I'm familiar with the name.
Okay.
I don't know Ezra at all.
Okay. Ezra is from Rebels.
Okay.
And that's a show that we will be covering here probably next year. No. So I've mapped out all the episodes. If we stay on a schedule, we should end the Clone Wars this time next year. Exactly. I think down to the date this time next year. So Clone Wars content is going to be pushing out, like we discussed at the beginning of the beginning of the
Episode.
episode, we are going to start recording on uh, Saturdays. We're debating whether we want to release them on Saturdays or we want to put them back on Tuesdays. But regardless, you guys are going to get content every week. We should be good.
Mhm.
I want to announce something next episode. Um, but we'll get there. Um, but yeah, that's episode 6. David, what are your thoughts? Anything? You got anything going on? Try to get into Light of the Jedi a little bit more.
I'm gonna try. I mean, I'm splitting my time between a lot of stuff right now,
Yeah.
and this is a project that I really want to focus on. But
No, yeah.
I'm one of those guys that reads like 3 or 4 books at a time.
D-
So
I can't do that. I'm currently hold on. So I'm reading. Oh, so I'm reading the young adult novel for Out of the Shadows that takes place after Rising Storm, the most
Mhm.
recent book that came out. It's really good. I honestly, David, I would say get the audiobooks. I get the audiobooks and I read the books so that I retain stuff.
Yeah, I do spend a fair amount. I travel a lot for work, and I could do that. I could
It might be
get more into
actually better.
audiobooks. Yeah.
I mean, I think Light of the Jedi right now is like $19, I think it is. I
Mhm.
mean, it's kind of pricey for an audiobook, but for the quality that you get, it's amazing. You get all that. You get lightsabers, you get blaster bolts, you get the voice acting is great in it.
Yeah, yeah.
The music is John Williams. So you get it's just amazing.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow, that's quite the production.
Yes, absolutely. I
Hmm.
love it. I love the audiobooks. This last one though that I'm reading and listening to has kind of let me down a little bit. The quality's not as great, but I'm willing to give it a chance because Darth Chaco, who will be um on the
Light of the Jedi
podcast.
is on it's on Libby if anyone has a Libby subscription through their
What's Libby?
public library. It's a podcast, it's an audiobook app that you can get through your local
Public
library.
library for
Mhm.
free?
Mhm. It's on here.
So you gonna
Now
get
I
it?
will say I had to place a hold on it.
Oh.
You can only, it's just like checking out a book. The library only has so many copies of it. But yeah,
Oh,
Light
so
of the
many
Jedi's
copies of
on
the
there
so many copies of
digitally.
the
Yeah,
digitally?
yeah,
Really? They
yeah.
can't. That's
It's a
strange.
licensing thing,
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
but it's also free. So like whatever,
Oh yeah,
just
definitely. I
if
would.
you
I
want to save yourself $20,
like I say, Star Wars audiobooks kill it every single time. They are so good.
you gotta
Um,
download the app, man.
I I don't want to wait for the audiobook to come out. And
Sure.
I own 31 I went into my library, 31 Star Wars audiobooks. 31. I've
Good for
listened to
you.
31 books.
Now
I
think
am
of that. Now
I
think of
am
the $620 that you could have saved by going to your
I
local
don't
library.
care. I have it forever. If I want to listen to a certain book, I can. I
Your
can pull
library's
up.
got it forever too.
It doesn't matter. I don't have to wait for 3 weeks to get it.
Fair enough.
But
But I will recommend if anyone doesn't have $20, but they still
yeah,
want to get into it,
absolutely.
check out your local library. They have tons of resources for, if it's not app or if it's not Libby, there's like it's not Overstock, but over something.
Oh
There's tons of
yeah.
different resources out there. Go to your library, kids.
Go to your local library and check out a book from Star Wars.
Or they got those yeah, no, they've got tons of Star Wars stuff at the
Yeah, they
library all the
do.
time.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you guys aren't into getting into the High Republic, I would highly recommend it. There's a lot of good storytelling. If you're a Star Wars fan, I I couldn't I couldn't recommend it more. It's just great world building, and I really really enjoy it. So,
Yeah, there you
but
go.
sorry guys, that is going to be a wrap. David, where can they follow us on the social medias?
We're all over the place. What's TikTok? TikTok
TikTok
is
is at Podwans Podcast.
we're getting big there,
We
guys.
are
Lucas does a
currently
really good job of posting several times a day or several times a week.
we are
Uh,
we are currently at 708
Holy
followers.
cow, that's like another 100 since like yesterday, right?
Yes, and when we hit 1,000, uh, we can go live. So we can go
Oh,
live and we can talk to you guys and interact on TikTok and answer questions, do stuff like that. You can be on the lookout for me later on today. I will be in the Char Char Star Wars trivia.
yeah.
That is going on later today. Darth Chaco is also going to be in the tournament. So for those who want to follow him and do all those things, come watch us. We'll be live streaming it on YouTube. Come check us out. But on Instagram, it's the Podwans Podcast. On Twitter, it's at Podwans.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it, guys.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a wrap. We will be back next week. Big one next week. We have our guest Don Marshall from TikTok, who is the Rings facts guy. And I'm very, very excited for him to come on and talk Star Wars. We might get into a little bit of Lord of the Rings because obviously the Prime show is coming out here next year and a lot to talk about. But until then, may the force be with you.
Be happy it's canon. Oh, hey, one last thing.
Yeah.
What episodes are we covering next week? Is
Hold
it
on.
just one is it an arc?
It's an arc.
Let's make sure. I want to let the viewers know that way they can.
Okay. So next week we will be we've got downfall of a droid.
Mm-hmm.
That we will be covering. So we're gonna be releasing 2 episodes next week. But we will be recording one and releasing it at a later time. And we'll get Dawn's released. It'll be that next week. We'll release Downfall of a Droid.
And then the following
And then the
week.
following week we will release Dawn's episode.
Cool. All right.
So we will be on track. We will be on point. But
All right,
on
man.
that final note,
We'll see you guys next week.
may the force be with you.
See ya.